Today, I'm going to show you my 100% APR Solana SOL strategy by using platforms like Orca and Radium. Now, that being said, the first thing that I want to talk about is this estimated 24-hour yield right here, because if we multiply this by 365 days, that only comes out to 31%. But if we just grab this position address right here and throw it on into the Metrics Finance Simulate page, we'll be able to find the pool pretty easily and analyze the volume history. And off the bat, there's a couple different things that I want to go ahead and mention. I am currently on the 0.04% fee tier. I currently have roughly $5,000 deployed into this pool. I deployed about $4,900, and I'll talk about why I have such a little allocation here a little bit later on in my strategy going forward. But when we look at the volume history, you'll notice that there's just these 2 days every single week where the volume's super low, half of what it typically is. These days right here are the weekends, because on Saturday and Sunday there's not as much trading activity as there is on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And you can see that by looking at the data right here and analyzing the data on Metrics Finance. With that being said, even then, Metrics Finance is estimating that we're getting roughly a 50% APR, and that's because more recently we are getting a 50% APR. When I first deployed into this position about 5 weeks ago, I was getting 120% APR, and then about a week after that I was getting 110% APR, and another week went by and I got about 100% APR, and that dropped pretty quickly down to 50% APR. The reason why is because more liquidity came into the market. As more liquidity comes into the market, the returns are going to get diluted, and that's why this is such a time-sensitive opportunity in decentralized finance. We can get these crazy percent APRs. Some may even say 50% APR is a crazy APR, because it is. But the thing is, we can get much higher right now because big institutions and big banks have not dove into this industry quite yet. And once they do dive into this industry, we still will be able to get super high returns. It's just, it will not be on assets like SOL USDC. It'll be on new pairs that just launched. But with that being said, I want to talk about my optimization strategy, because I do have a range of 120 to 170. And if we take a look at the past 90 days, you'll notice for the majority of that time, we have stayed in range and we have consolidated sideways. So what I'm personally going to do is bring that min price up to 130. And the reason why is because recently we have came down to roughly like 135 or so, but we have not got down to 130. And then my max price, I'm going to bring that to like 165, and then I'm going to go ahead and look back on the 30-day chart. That right there will put me primarily in SOL, because remember, as the price of SOL goes up, your SOL is getting sold into USDC, and as the price of SOL goes down, well, guess what? Your USDC is being used to buy SOL. And that's exactly why I have $5,000 in here and not $50,000 in here. I have other positions over on Uniswap and other decentralized exchanges that I'm earning roughly 100% APR on, and then I'm also aiming to earn about a 100% APR over on the Solana network. But by only allocating $5,000 here, I can use this $9 per day that I would get, or this $3,500 per year, to just strictly buy up SOL on spot, as opposed to putting it back in liquidity pools. I can build my HODL bag with my DeFi bag. And if you guys are looking to start deploying your capital into DeFi positions that generate you passive income, then I highly recommend you join the world-class DeFi community called the DeFi Excel. It is by far the fastest growing DeFi group out there. Over 150 members in the first month, and it's only $30 per month for a limited time. Guys, truth be told, it was $25 last month, but after we hit 100 members, all future members will be charged $30 per month. And we're raising the price by $5 every new 100 members that we get in the group. But I'll leave that up to you guys if you guys want to join or even check it out. The link is down below in the description. Just a little tip, it does come with 30 days free of Metrics Pro. So looking over at this position, this is doing about a 70% APR after we adjusted our range, but that's still not anything too crazy. And when we look at the past 30 days, we are still in range for the past 30 days had we were to enter over here. So what I am going to do is bring my min price up just a little bit more to 132, and then I'm going to bring my max price down to like 163. That will get us to about a 78% APR, and from there I am going to save this to my portfolio, because in order to get a better return on this pool, I'm number one going to need to find something that has a more favorable liquidity distribution chart, higher volume and fees, or just mix it with another pair that's doing much higher, so I can collectively get that 100% APR. So I got this added to my portfolio with about $5,000 over here. The next thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is go to the Simulate page. And the reason why is because Simulate has something called pair. And once we pull up pair, it's going to allow us to essentially look at SOL to USDC, but not only SOL to USDC, also SOL to USDT, and SOL paired with other stablecoins across both Orca and Radium, but also on different fee tiers. So I'm just going to type in SOL to USDC right over here, and then I can enter in my range, which remember I chose a range of 132 to 163. So let's just plop that in. And we're looking at a deposit amount of $5,000. So we'll just plop that in. Just like that, you can see there are about 6 different opportunities for sold to USDC that we can browse through. Now, I will mention this will filter out the very, very low TVL pools. So while there are like literally 8 different fee tiers over on Orca, a lot of them have like $10, $100, $1,000 of liquidity in it. Those are not going to be displayed here because those are not realistic returns that would be shown because, well, guess what? There's only a couple $100 of liquidity. This is the one that I'm currently in, doing a 71% APR. There's also 0.02% fee tier doing over a 100% APR. There's this sold to USDC over on Radium doing a 144% APR. Another Radium one doing 160 and another Radium one doing 140. So the next thing that I'm gonna go ahead and do is just pop open these opportunities and start to browse through them. This one right here on Orca on the 0.02% fee tier. The first thing that we need to do is analyze liquidity distribution, but we also need to analyze the volume history. In this scenario, it's a pyramid, which looks kind of fun, but at the same time, recently volume has been going down. So we can't really look at this volume data and we can't really look at this volume data because we are not consistently doing that volume. If we were to draw a trend line on this volume right here, the trend line would look something like this, where it's going up and then it's going down basically. It is not going sideways to the point where it's consistent, or it's not going up to the point where it's consistent. And then also liquidity distribution, you can see we got like a ladder right here. This is basically just saying that people are going to be selling their SOL as the price moves up at these specific prices. But if we do go over here to like roughly 150, we're getting roughly an 80% APR. And if we zoom into the past, let's just say we wanted to look at the past like week or so, so 7 days, we're getting a 60% APR. That pool is not a good opportunity in my opinion. I'm better off staying where I'm currently at. So let's dive into this 160% APR. Just go for the highest one first. The first thing I noticed on this one is the liquidity distribution looks much more favorable, and we're basically at the peak of this liquidity distribution. The next thing I notice is volume history is a lot more consistent. So that's way better in my personal opinion. And even if we were to zoom out to the past 7 days of volume, we're still getting roughly a 164% APR. And I am personally happy with that. That far exceeds my goals. Now, I do expect more liquidity to come into the market, at least for this pair. So that is something to keep in mind. But for the time being, we can most definitely get a high return. And this is where I'm going to be moving my liquidity to. And the other cool thing is we did have to tighten up that range to kind of squeeze out a little bit more juice. If we really wanted to, we can broaden that range. That way we have a little bit more upside exposure, and we're still hitting our 100% APR metric and actually exceeding it at 120% APR. And remember, I can mix this in with other correlated pairs with SOL, like SOL BTC. That one does about 40 to 50% APR for those people that are in DeFi Excel. So if we allocate about half of our capital over to SOL Wrap Bitcoin or SOL Ethereum, and then half of our capital to something like SOL USDC, doing a super high return, well, we're averaging out to about 80-90% APR. But the benefit is we could take the capital from SOL to USDC, the passive income that we're getting, and just compound it back into the correlated pair. But that's the story for another day. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, notifications turned on. Remember, don't forget to get that free 30 days of Metrics Pro through the DeFi Excel community. That's available for $30 per month for a limited time. And of course, the best part is you are locking in your price. I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace out.